I'd like to call to order the Phillipsburg City Council meeting for September 3rd, 2019. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Bruce, we have you on to talk about Trinity Ag fuel tax.
Maybe to preempt this a little bit, I asked Bruce to come because after our last meeting we talked about...
You had an assignment, yeah.
I had an assignment, so I got in the middle of the assignment and I talked to Bruce and I talked to, what's his name? Merritt.
Yeah.
And after researching the net about fuel taxes, we can for a $6 permit fee for Kansas, we can turn our fuels in, but it'll be a nightmare for the girls in the office. The federal, the same way. Right now, Rangeland has always taken care of that on the red fuels here at their pumps, period. And it is my understanding that not everybody does that with red on the taxes for exempt fuels. Now, it is my understanding we pay a very small amount, and if I'm wrong on something here, Bruce, correct me.
Yeah.
We pay just a very small amount of federal tax on red fuel. Very small. Like,
And at this point, you pay nothing. We've always taken care of it.
okay, all right. So with that said, that's why the price difference is different between red and clear. But what I looked at on the state permit, like I said, it's a $6 fee for the state motor fuel special fuel tax refund permit. But it says list all your tractors, stationary engine, other gas and diesel equipment, and list all your cars, trucks owned by the applicant. So you would have to list everything, turn it into the state. It'd be an accounting, be a lot of work for the girls to do that. So it can be done, but as much equipment as we got to report, I don't know that that's feasible. The other thing come about, and I know they had some issues with their cards. I asked about that. I know they had a guy that was more than willing to be there anytime you need him until they got that mess straightened out, but I did understand that they'd already had cards in use with the same numbers as what we were using, so they got that straightened out. But in the system, in the old system and the new system, we can issue a card to each vehicle, or we can issue a card to each individual, require them to put a unit number, mileage, or hours into the system before they get fuel. Better tracking, better accountability. It's not an open card. My understanding is they keep a card at the station for the trash truck and others so that they can walk into the station and get the card. And I know we talked about the auditors with where they're at. So we can take care of that real easy just by issuing the cards. Each person, we could issue a card to each person that needs to get fuel. We can issue it, they can say it can only get red, it can get red clear, it can get gas. He'll have a PIN number. He has to put a unit number, mileage, or like I say, hours, like for a tractor. If it goes into a fuel barrel would have to have an equipment number, like if you're putting it into a tank on a pickup or something like that. So, I mean, that's an easy solution there to take care of. I guess with that said, I don't really see much problems, but it's still 24-hour fueling. And I did ask the question about their 7 cent, and basically what they told me was that 7 cent compensated for credit cards, and they're just gonna match everybody else's fuel in town anyway. So we could use a credit card or we could use their charge card. There really wasn't a 7 cent discount. The only time you found a discount was when everybody else was higher and they just didn't have to change their price, and that was a little cheaper, but it normally compensated back to the same price. So I guess that's what I found out for fuel taxes.
And I'm simply here to Mike has done his research. Everything he said is fairly true. The discount was never a discount. It was however the customers perceived it. And it was so that we had a higher price posted. The law stated you had to post your highest price. Well, that was a credit card. So our Rangeland cards at the time and now the Trinity cards simply were taking that 7 cents off. And if you really track through the years, and this has been going on for well over 20 years. I've been there 20 years and it was going on before I got there. It was a standard thing that Rangeland Co-op did. And as far as I know, Phillips Farmers Co-op at Phillipsburg did the same thing. But all that was to get us down to what everyone was in town. So that was what the 7 cents was for. And now you will simply see our price posted, and there won't be any difference between the two. And that was because in this formation of Trinity, we were the only ones doing that. And so we had to compromise. And with bringing this new system in, this is what we did. It was easier to do this than to retrain two other co-ops.
We don't contract anymore, right? Did we contract some last year? The
I don't
year
think
before we
offer
did, didn't
fuel
you?
contract.
We still offer diesel fuel contracts, but we had not. We stopped doing gas contracts probably about 4 years ago or 5 years ago.
Okay.
So
But really, on
now
these-
that's not saying you could not ask us to quote you a price and get you X number of gallons for the next 2 months, but we've got to go out to the Board of Trade and get that locked in, or to our suppliers and say, what can we lock in the next 3 months worth of gas for, or something like that. So if you are interested in some things like that, we can certainly work with you and do something like that. So the cards, as Mike alluded to, that's the answer to the question you and I had this morning, Tim. The reason we did have to make you new cards is, and that we need to, as soon as we get your information, is that your cards ended up having the exact same card numbers as existing customers in the East. And they were already in the Triple E system, so we have to give you new card numbers. We can't take theirs away without confuse. We can do it, but we confuse everybody. So we already have confusion on this end, no sense making confusion on both ends. So as far as the billing,
yeah, that was the other thing.
and the research that I did on that, turns out that to our knowledge, you were not having the rounding problem when we were on the old Gas Boy system. When we went to Gas Boy Plus, and probably about a year ago, is when this started. We were trying to work on that and not getting any help. Gas Boy Plus, Gas Boy was not helping us solve that. We believe today, just today, that we have found out what was going on in the rounding. We think we have it fixed. We won't know until we get a couple weeks worth of purchases here and compare our printout to our statement. So Gas Boy and Triple E were carrying it out 3 places. AgTrax was not, which is our bookkeeping system. It gets pulled every day into our bookkeeping system, and then it has to make a conversion. That rounding and that conversion is where that was taking place. So one time it would round, and normal mathematical rounding, if it come out as $2.37.4, it would stay $2.37 and match the receipt. If it came out at $2.37.5, it would round up and it would be a penny off. So we think we have that fixed. We won't know till we get a bunch more transactions, so we can compare what are the guys turning into you and what's on our statement. So, and the other one was the fact that you pay state tax, federal. We do not charge you for that. Rangeland didn't, Trinity does not, and we apply for it back on our side. So you're not even messing with it.
No bookkeeping for us, simpler, so.
And we've been doing that the whole time. So, and that was the 4 questions: the 7 cent discount, and then the cards. That's why we were having to make you new cards. So all we need to know on cards is what you guys want and how you want them set up, as Mike was telling you. We have a lot of ways we can go. You can require everything so that you have a really good checks and balance system. I mean, the card number is there, the PIN number, you can pick the PIN numbers on this new system. You couldn't on Gas Boy. It just assigned them. You can now, if you want certain PIN numbers on certain cards, we have the capability to give that number to you. We can require odometer reading. We can require an employee or driver number. We can require a unit number. Any, all, none. We can have certain cards gas only, certain cards dyed only or clear only, or we can have cards that do all three. It's just however you want to set it up for both the city's fire trucks and the city vehicles. It's what how much security do you want? So.
I think that's the only reason I asked Bruce to come if there were some other questions or other explanations. That way it's pretty clear.
How's that set up on fire trucks? Do we can run a dyed fuel in the diesels, right?
As long as
And
it's
that's
not
where
licensed.
Yeah, as long as it's not licensed, you can run dyed fuel. And that's the way it's always been set up.
Yeah.
Well, we got Bruce here. Any other questions for him?
I don't think so.
Yeah, appreciate you coming, Bruce.
Appreciate it.
Okay, you're
Thanks,
welcome.
Bruce.
Thanks for letting
Thank
me
you.
address you.
All right.
All right.
Thanks. Any other public comment? Okay, let's take a look at the August 19th meeting minutes. Oh, I had one typo in here. Can't see it now.
I make a motion we approve the August 19th minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. James seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Appropriation ordinance number 1055-08-19B.
Who or what is this, Circle C?
Circle C paving, that is your Onyx.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Are they working?
They're done.
Oh, shows you how much I seen of them.
Yeah, they did it all.
Everything east of Fifth Street is now complete.
Oh, good. Okay, cool.
Take that back. We still have one street there that's not been cracked, so there is one street left over there.
What'd we get from Core and Main, Tim? Another
We
meter?
had one meter we had to pick up, and then the electronics went bad on the meter at the pool, so we had to put a new head on it.
JCI Industries?
That is our lift stations that we had scheduled to have all four motors pulled and sent in and redone.
Oh, okay,
So that was
Part of the
scheduled.
capital improvement plan.
yeah.
What was their actuator assembly? What is that?
Those go to the sewer plant. We've had some things starting to fail down there from 12 years of use. I think that's originals. So, yeah, we have to replace a few of them.
Tyler Technologies?
Pardon?
Tyler?
I believe that's your fund balance, isn't it?
That's our fund
Okay, I was
balance.
wondering if that wasn't what that was.
That's our annual
Yeah,
fund balance.
okay, I was wondering about that.
Now, they did say if we go to the new system, they will reimburse whatever we have, whenever we cut over. They'll prorate it back.
Oh, good. Good. And I know I've asked this question before, but with the Visa bill, and I know a lot of that is not a billable deal, so you're buying stuff that you can't necessarily bill. I just,
On the Visa bill,
yeah,
where's it at on?
about the bottom one on the first page there.
It's got
About three of
$44 on it. If you go through the individual, you'll be able to see what those charges are set for. Some of it's on, I can't remember what was all on there this month. We
So
purchased
what,
a lot of things.
just to let you know, I go through it. So one of our control points now is I go through the individual entries,
Oh, okay, cool.
and then I'll sign the Visa bill to make sure I've reviewed it.
Perfect.
That's one of the control points the finance committee put in.
Yeah.
So a couple of big purchases on there. You got your Frito-Lay for the pool. There's
500,
$600
yeah,
roughly.
600, yeah.
The movie was $400. So there's $1,000 out right there just in two
Yeah.
two
no, that's-
purchases. So it adds up very quickly when you have things you're bringing in.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's what I want to know.
Any other questions?
One of those is $2,200, and that's for the two new 2-inch pumps that we had to replace. The others are almost 18 years old
Okay.
per USA Blue Book, so they're fairly expensive models, but they are one of our biggest users.
The total of the fund balance was like 6,000. It's just broken out to the different departments in here. I saw that 1,800 and I go, oh,
Very much.
that's
yeah.
not the check I signed.
Then I'd so move to approve appropriation 1055-08-19B.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Wisner.
All right.
Mr. James.
Biggest thing I had was talking about this fuel thing, and then I had some questions for Tim then later about the streets and some of that, but
We'll do that.
I got a question for you, Mark. Are we still on schedule to get our truck next month?
yeah. Bear with me. I don't know if you remember when I told you that
I
was.
thought you told me it'd be closer toward the end of October.
End of October?
Yeah, let me see if I can find that. I had called them and the build date was, I'm trying to remember when the build date was. That's why I said, let me see if I can find that right quick. But I was kind of guesstimating,
And that's okay, Mike. I just want to make sure it wasn't going to get stretched out several more months.
oh yeah, here. Trash truck should be built September 16th of that week.
Okay.
And then at that point, once it's built, then shipped to the Packer company. You know, my estimate was toward the tail end of October, somewhere in that territory, just thinking about transportation, and then by the time they build it and all that, be
Okay.
just a rough, that's a rough guess anyway, so. And that's pretty much on schedule what they was before.
To start. Okay.
Are we still planning on paying for it the same way, as far as the funds coming out of, where were they coming out of?
It was coming out of solid waste, and we figured by the time it got here, we would have money put back into it to be able to take care of it.
The equipment reserve is
Yeah.
what
Right.
we
Okay.
Yeah,
did the,
And then we'll evaluate all the rates again in January, so
Okay.
see where we're at.
Okay. Mr. Rogers?
No, sir.
Mr. McConnell?
Lynette is not here. She's the chairman of the Facilities Committee. She asked me to go over or ask you to look at the resolution 270 that we passed on setting the rates and waiving fees. And I guess I just want to bring that back up and ask everybody's opinion on that. That's what she asked me to do. I don't know, if we, if we waive it for one, we need to waive it for all, or how, we want to bring it up and revisit this. What's everybody's thoughts?
How do you want to do this? You want to go clockwise or counterclockwise on your opinion?
We just need to make it fair for everybody. If we waive it, for what? I don't have the answer. That's why, let's look at it.
So the purpose of 270 was to make sure everybody was treated the same,
Right.
and that we were treating the community building as is the armory.
Right.
I think the only people that were waived were fundraisers, I think, if I remember right, and schools.
Right.
Right.
No, schools.
Well,
School
Schools,
gets half price.
Oh.
schools half price.
and then we waive it for the local wrestling.
Yeah. Well,
Well, they
yeah.
asked for a donation,
Yeah,
and we waived it versus giving them
giving them a donation. Yeah.
giving them a donation. So I think if you're gonna do that, I think you also need to go back and revisit your Little League $3,000 a year.
Yeah, I know, I don't
I
have a
think
problem
you-
with
I
waiving
mean,
it.
if you're
for
gonna
the-
treat equal
Yeah,
to equal.
those-
Yeah, that's what we need to be, I think.
The reason this come back up is because other groups have started asking to have their fees waived.
Waived, yeah, I figured that's why it was brought back up.
When you say other groups, are they, what type?
Nonprofit,
Girl Scouts, your
Yeah.
girls volleyballs, your basketballs, you know, you've got
Everyone
all
of
those
those
leagues that do, what is it, fourth, I don't think they go below fourth grade, do they? It's fourth, fifth, sixth grade. I mean, they're all gonna start coming. Your adult league basketball, your
Who's
women's
that?
league volleyball.
Who's officially asked?
I have been approached by, I believe it was fourth graders and the Girl Scouts.
Okay. Where did the Girl Scouts go?
They use the community building.
A room?
They used the gym, I just rented when I needed it.
And the junior footballs and the little guys' footballs in there the other day, I know,
And
I
they
don't-
paid.
and they paid. So,
I got, probably the only comment I got by rethinking this is the aspect, I know everybody looks at a definition, but specific fundraisers. I guess define specific fundraisers.
When I wrote this, I looked at your Relay for Lives, your, I'll use the, I hate using people's names specifically, but they had a fundraiser for the Shieldses for when she was looking for medical expenses, or your, they had one for Sharon out there at the Armory, those kind of things that weren't, there's nobody feeding funds to them outside of this fundraiser. With sports or clubs, things like that, they're all being sponsored by individual people's participation, is how we kind of try to put it.
Well, you know what I mean, you know, if I didn't know better and read it that way, you know, a definition, I guess is, and I don't know how you'd really define that properly. And I guess if the facilities committee's got the, if they sit down and evaluate it, then I guess that's what we got them for. If we can't trust them to do that, we don't need them. We don't need the committee.
but if I'm reading this right, no one gets a discount other than the school sanctioned events?
That's correct.
So like little kids wrestling and the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, they pay just like everyone else?
Except we gave the wrestling a
Donation, they, potato. We give money or we waive the right, I mean,
Save an accounting entry.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, I just, it would be nice to give some other, you know, nonprofit organizations, but I don't know how you do the criteria for it. You know, just not the schools, you know, maybe.
problem with that, I think you open up a whole can of snakes.
Oh, I'm
and it's
sure.
all-
I'm
it-
sure.
It's all nonprofit and organization.
Or
and-
not-for-profit.
Or not-for-profit, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I said
Yeah,
for-profit, I meant not-for-profit.
You know, I know they went to a lot of work. I can live with this. We just have to make sure that we don't deviate from it.
I thought though that when we're talking about this and instituting this policy, this resolution, that the thing was, and I believe you made the comment, Mike, is that if they're willing to come and request something, then we should work with them. If they're willing to come to a meeting and request something, we should try to work with them in some way. I agree, but you know, do you waive the fees or do you give a flat fee to every organization that wants it? Because it doesn't matter which way you go, every damn one of them's gonna want one. Hell, I might start doing something. I'm gonna start giving away money.
Yeah, when you look at it, I mean, I'm looking at it, how Little League's treated and how little kids wrestling's treated. To me, they're equals. And we're giving $3,000, letting them use the facility. We're paying for the lights at the Little League program. And we give them $3,000 to be able to take care of the fields. Tim made a comment that, well, we could raise the rates on the little kids wrestling, and he's got 3 of them in there. And he's willing to do it to be able to pay the rent on the Armory. Well, 275 kids involved in Little League. If you raise it $10, they could pay the $3,000 that the city gives them. So, I mean, if we're gonna do one, let's do them all. Let's do them all the same. I don't disagree with this at all. But when it comes to handing out money, let's hand out money the same or don't hand out money at all. Let's treat them the same. And I'm the biggest baseball fan in here, I think. But I'm saying it from a taxpayer, keeping it equal. If someone comes in and asks for money, how can you say no when you do it over here? So.
And we've done baseball as long as I can remember.
Yep. And I was told the reason was we used to take care of the fields.
We did.
And we quit taking care of the fields and we're just gonna give you money and find something to
Right,
do.
we dumped the responsibility of finding someone to take care of the field onto them so they could,
Right.
but I agree, that's.
But we mow the fields. We mow all the fields.
And all they do is take care of
All
the
they
infield and
all
get
they
umpires.
do is chalk it and drag it.
Yeah, yeah. And they use our equipment, or used to. Still do.
We got one on the tractor, I think.
Yeah.
The old reliable.
Maybe we better do some more thinking on this.
But we have no policy on that.
No,
And this is where Park and Recs would come in real handy right
Yeah.
now. And we get funds from Park and Recs, for Park and Recs out of sales tax dollars, as well as liquor tax. So,
I agree with Brett. We need to look at this a little more.
think on it. I mean, this is a good start, but I think we need to,
We'll get the committee together and we'll work on this.
yeah, I think so.
Very good.
What would you like to see different so we know what direction to help the committee go?
Well, for one, like Lance says, we've got to put in somewhere other than waiving these rights, it's donations to the same organization. I mean, if we're gonna, just like the little kids wrestling, if we're gonna donate to them to go around to circumvent Resolution 270, that's not gonna work. So,
I mean, and we have another facility called the Aquatic Center that they hold swim meets outside
they do,
That
once a
we-
year,
that we don't charge.
anything for. So, I honestly don't know the answer, Tim, will there be a perfect answer? Probably not, but maybe we can,
All we can do is try.
yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion? You got anything else, Terry?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Lynette's gone. Mr. Miles?
I don't have anything.
Really? You sure?
Not that I can think of anything.
Mr. Sage?
Received information that the cities are gonna have their fall conference in October. I believe it's in Overland Park. City attorneys meet the day, the Friday before it all starts, I think either Saturday or Monday. And so I would like to have permission to attend the city attorney's part, which I believe that date is October 11th, but don't hold it to me. So,
It is the 11th, I think, because the 12th through the 14th is the rest of it. Do we have consensus to allow Mr. Sage to attend?
Yes.
Okay.
that's all I had.
Do you mind if the mayor goes to the rest of it?
Sure.
Okay. Because they had a couple things on that actually sparked my interest, even though it's a weekend.
No, I don't have a problem with it.
If you think it's
Well, you're taking
beneficial.
the city.
Okay, on the procurement policy, this came to light, there's two ways, or well, there's probably more than two ways, but when Tim is gone, we have the assistant, what's his official title?
Assistant Public Works Director.
Assistant Public Works Director. So we could specifically put that they have the same purchasing power as in the absence of them. I think that's what we need to change it to.
Yeah, I agree.
It's either that or we have him do a delegation of authority letter every time he's gone.
No.
That says they have the authorities other than personnel decisions.
And it's not gonna happen that often,
No.
but it could.
Yeah.
So he does need to have that authority when Tim.
Well, what brought it to light was he come and asked me to buy a couple $4,000 valves and,
Which we already had programmed for.
but anyway,
Yeah.
I told him to go buy them because we were having, we need to get that done on State Street, so.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, we'll make that modification and bring it for,
Can I ask questions?
sure.
While you're talking about that, is there anything you wish to change on that policy for your new position?
No,
Okay.
no. I don't think there's any purchase. We might give them, well, we might,
You might think about that. Just
they
to see-
might, yeah, we might do the community development director, like if he does an ad or something, he might.
Yeah, we probably.
He could always work with her though on that.
Could go through one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as getting it done.
Yeah. And then we can see how it goes. If we need to make an adjustment later, we can.
Yeah, that's a good point though. I appreciate you bringing that up.
So the policy's in here with the updated language.
Oh, you got it in here.
Yeah.
Where's it
It's
at?
on page 21.
Thank you for pointing that out. So on 21, I guess approval is fine, huh? Yeah, she's added assistant, on page 21, she's added the assistant public works director in the absence of the director of public works. So basically asked for permission for me to sign that.
I so move.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I'll wait for you, which is now. You're next. So I have a question. Is the pool, it's still full?
Yes, it is.
Is there a reason?
It's actually being drained as we speak.
Okay.
The reason for it is, as you're all aware, we've been concerned with some ongoing problems with the recirculation pipe. We feel that we have another leak. We've been working to identify that. We've dug up a small section on the south end trying to identify it. We had KWRA here again today to try to bring their acoustic system through and try to do some more listening. Amazingly enough, the area that they pointed out last time is no longer
Gurgling?
making any noise today.
Was there a leak where the noise was?
Unfortunately not. Before we do any more destructive powers to it, I want to try a couple things that we're going to do, and it requires us to drain the pool at this point. We'll bring KWRA back with their listening equipment once it's empty, and we're going to try a couple other things. So I don't have a good answer at this point other than we're still continuing to do some work around it.
Okay.
You'll continue to see some work around it. Speaking of pools, this afternoon we had an incident at the indoor pool that required us to close it, and it has been drained and is being refilled, and will not be open tomorrow. So it'll be returned open back on Thursday.
Do you put something out on that?
I did put it on Facebook, making sure they knew it was closed the remainder of today and tomorrow.
What about our,
Website?
The ADT is,
yeah, there, that's what
we
I was-
did not put it out on that because it's hard to pinpoint our customers based on usage.
Yeah, but if you do both,
I mean, we can send one out if you prefer.
well, I think doing both would be good.
Okay. When we get done here, I'll work on getting one put out. But yeah, so it will be closed tomorrow. Training, I went to the Kansas Airport Association conference last week. I will ask that you never make me go to that ever again. I apologize. I did go the 26th and 27th, but I retreated and came home on the 27th and did not stay for the final day. We don't fit into their categories. So one of the few classes that I went to that I was interested in was on funding. Well, their funding requires a 50% match for these programs, but the smallest category was $10 million minimum. We don't have a $20 million project out there at the airport, nor will we ever have $10 million match to put out there, so it's really not gonna fit us. This stuff's made for your Kansas Cities, your Wichitas, your commercial airlines. This really didn't fit us well at all. So, yeah, it was
Okay.
interesting. Thursday, I went to the Visioning Transportation meeting down there at Hayes, and was able to listen to some of the ideas that are out there for the future of transportation. Basically what those meetings are entailing is they're trying to get information together for a new comprehensive transportation program. This is one of many meetings they'll be having down through there. Projects were brought up for consideration, one of them being the 383 project that everybody has heard so much about. Some good information through there. We'll keep you updated on any new findings that we hear come through that.
So 383 is still in the plans, right?
Yes.
And any timing?
I think phase 1 and 2 has already been picked up for programming, so that means it's probably in the next 2 years. The middle phase is the one that's being held up, and it's basically held up on right-of-way issues because, from what I understand, some of the property has been foreclosed on, and trying to get right-of-way from foreclosure company is very challenging. So it drags it out quite a little bit. So I think all three of those projects are still moving forward. So I think you'll see some progress here in the next couple of years.
But we're still gonna have the traffic,
I understand KDOT
The
is
big
running,
loads.
I understand KDOT is running some stuff coming up from the south. Running some of the wide towers through there too. That they said they wouldn't run, but I think they said they wouldn't route any of them from the north. They didn't say anything about routing from the south.
I
They're
did
coming, trust me, I've seen them.
I did get some information late this
not on
afternoon.
183 though, while we're doing our stuff.
No,
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 no, up there.
No.
Okay.
We're still getting some coming through town. We've had several of them come from the east still and blow through all the cones, and they have to be put back up. Even though there's a width restriction there, it seems like they're still coming through. So
I seen a wild pilot car driver today, man. He was all over the road, blocking the road and pulling in front of people, damn near running one car off in the ditch.
Here in town?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was this afternoon. I called the sheriff's office. And, you know, once they crossed the railroad tracks, he was clear over in the west-hand lane blocking any traffic because of the tower coming over the tracks. And I took a picture of it and sent it to him. Yeah, they're still, the cowboys are still out there. They haven't learned.
yes, sir. Crew's been busy. Last week was The last 2 weeks has been a challenging week getting the new water line tied into the old water line. And so the old water line from 7th Street all the way to the city limits is now out of use. All services are removed and everybody is on the new line. So the water line portion of that project is complete. The only thing left is some demo work. I gotta scrap down some of the old hydrants and valves and get them removed, but everything's dead from that point. So there was a lot of challenging with some of the valves. We've got a few of our valves that don't close all the way, so it was still allowing water to bypass the areas we were trying to work in. This is one of the major reasons why we included as many valves in this new project as we have, and why we've included so many in our capital improvement plan to keep adding valves every year to try to help isolate this stuff and keep us
from shutting down the city.
keep us from having so many problems and the dangers of trying to fix things live. I don't think people realize when you've got as much water coming in that ditch at times how difficult and dangerous it is to make those repairs. We do 90% of our repairs live, which means we're pumping water as fast as it can come in. And it's not always the easiest, but unfortunately with our system, with the 2-inch wheel valves like we have, we don't have the availability just to shut that line off. As we found with some of these valves, you mess with them very much, they'll break. And when they break, there's nothing you're going to do to fix them. You have to try to cut a new one in, and you hope they don't break shut. You know, if they break shut, then you're in trouble. You got to reroute water through a different way, and it just creates more havoc.
Do you do a routine test on some of your main valves?
We do. In years past, they had not. In the last 3 years, we have exercised them annually.
Yeah, they
Sure.
require us to do ours annually.
Before that,
Partial closure to make sure it still moves.
before that, it had been several years before any of these
I was
valves.
curious, I didn't know with water, with the buildup and stuff in there, I didn't know whether that was.
So you could see down at the one valve that they had problems with down at the east intersection was because of buildup in the pipe. It wouldn't shut all the way because there was too much buildup in its way. So this will get easier, and as we get more of these valves put in place and our system up to snuff where it should be, this will get easier and won't be such a pain. So
Probably, you know, one of the things I've heard people commenting or hollering about is not knowing that you're shutting them down. And I know in some of the areas you've had to, you know, I caught canned food that one day and you had to just keep going back farther to find something to shut off that you could hold it. But is there a way that when you're doing those kind of things to put that out, that there could be some more outages in bigger area that you're working on so that people are aware of it?
I think when we put the notices out, we try to be specific on the areas that were going to be affected. Could we put more information in there that says other people could experience it? That's not a bad idea.
I mean, just to,
However, sometimes, for example, there was a block, actually about a half a block, that had some disruption. That line's not supposed to be hooked there, according to our maps. You know, we work off the best information that we have available to us, and when things start going south, as they did that day, our staff is just struggling to get ahead of the game instead of getting behind.
well,
And sometimes, unfortunately, we have to interrupt somebody without notice, and usually that's very minimal.
yeah.
And as much of an inconvenience that is,
People don't understand that.
it's part of doing business.
It is.
And I don't want to sound rude to anybody that finds that upsetting, but you know, that particular day, those 4 customers that lost water, in the grand scheme of with the hospital and the PCRC losing their water, they were a primary responsibility.
Yeah.
And you know, not everything's going to go perfect. I mean, this jump over to the new line, our contractors went through heck. I watched a guy in there trying to cut a pipe that the water was almost up past his waist. He couldn't even see the pipe at one point. And we had a 3-inch and 2-inch pumps going as fast as they could go. and that's with everything supposedly shut off. You know, it's not fun. It's miserable to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So, a couple other things. Our concrete approaches have been completed for the year, the ones we're going to do. So,
What was the grand total on those?
I'll get you those figures for your next
How
meeting.
many did you do though?
10.
10.
10 full approaches. So, for the most part, I'm really pleased with what we had. We had one approach that didn't turn out quite as well as I wanted it to, and we had to fix some mistakes on it, but I thought the guys did very good for first time we're asking to do so. And so I think that's a good show. We did a lot of valve locating and exercising, of course, with the work down here this last couple weeks. A couple things to update you on. Phase 1, you guys are pretty well up to date on that. The water line is complete. The rock is, I think it's probably about 95% complete. I didn't make it down there this afternoon to see if they got the last section of it put. But they should be putting concrete down, I'd say probably Thursday would be my guess.
What's that mesh they're putting into the rock?
It's called a geogrid. What that does, it keeps the excuse me, it keeps the rock from moving, kind of keeps it consolidated, keeps it packed into one spot. They used it for years, then it kind of stopped for a little bit, and now I see it starting to make a comeback. So it's just more of a protected barrier between your rock and your subgrade. So
I've had some comment about when they're doing the water replacement or the line replacement and stuff. Some of the sidewalks have gotten damaged. Is that something the contractor's going to take care of when they're done?
yes, sidewalks and ramps and things like that are part of the paving process.
Okay.
So now that our water line guys are out of the way, those crews will come in and start working on
Okay,
repairs.
cool, good, good,
So, yep, that's all part of it.
good.
Phase 2, I've got some, I got a document here that's just basically our acceptance of the grant for phase 2. I will need authorization for the mayor and both street committee individuals to sign that acceptance that we're willing to accept their $1 million to do phase 2.
What's our percentage?
We will have a 5% match on it at this point. We're still working to try to reduce that 5% to 0% based on our population, but that's not a guarantee yet.
Tim, remind me, that goes from where we take off on phase 1 to where?
The anticipation, if we have our funding partners with us, will be all the way to Subway.
Okay.
Is that with the CDBG money?
Mhm.
Okay. I would so move to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with KDOT.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Taxiway project, they finished the seeding this morning. All the pavement's done and everything's basically complete. We do a punch list walkthrough on it tomorrow morning, and I anticipate it being, I didn't see anything. There was one end section that they're gonna have to replace because they got it cracked when somebody hit it with the disc the other day. But other than that, it looks good. I'm very pleased with it. So we'll get that up and then turn folks loose to start building on it. So
We got prospective builders?
we have, Mr. Lanier has signed a contract to put
Good.
another hangar out there, so.
Are the hangars gonna be on the east, or on the west side of the drive?
I believe there is 4 on the west side and then there is 2 large hangars that are scheduled for the east
Is there
side.
room for the east side?
He's gonna be on the east side.
Hmm?
Is he gonna be on the east or the west?
He'll be on the west side,
West
one of the
side.
smaller hangars.
By the road?
They both, it'll be right next to the
Santa Fe?
no, they'll be right next to the existing hangars now. Those
To the
go north
south
and
end.
south, so you'll have them on this side, then you got some on the east side of that new taxi.
But you're
as
asking if
well.
he's gonna be on the
Is
south
he
end or the
gonna be
north
on the
end?
south end?
Oh, excuse me, the north end of it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Elevator update. So the elevator is here and installed. We had some problems once they got here to install. The company had sent us the wrong drawings for the wrong elevator, which required us to have to shift a wall about 3 inches. So we was able to scramble and get that redone. It is here, it is installed. We got some finish work to do around it, and They will be here to install the automatic door opener on it this week. Once we get that completed, we'll finish getting it painted and closed in, and it'll be ready for use. So it was a bit of a challenge to get the thing installed. They worked several nights till well past dark to try to get it installed and get it out of here. So I would say by first part of next week we ought to have it wrapped up. So it'll be in use. Aquatic Center we've already talked about. Just give you a heads up, code enforcement, there is a lot of need for it right now. Yards are looking terrible. We are going to need to probably collectively take some type of decision on what we do with a couple homes that are halfway tore down, but not tore down. We cannot seem to get any constant movement on those. It would be my recommendation that you send a violation of some sort as a health violation. It can get the process maybe moving a little faster at this point. Mr. Sage, do you have any disagreement with that?
No, question whether it's moving into the status of a dangerous
Oh,
structure.
well, it's dangerous.
It's well beyond that.
Then you may want to look at the dangerous structure ordinance.
I'd like to see something that moves a little quicker than that if possible.
Well, you can use any of them, but if you're actually wanting to get the thing torn down and go that way, you've got to go with the dangerous structure ordinance. And it takes a period, but that's the way you do it.
Okay.
Takes time.
I know the one that you had brought to me has not seen any movement.
I have noticed that as well.
And it's not because the owner doesn't want it, it's because his contractor is just,
I take that back. There's been a piece of equipment leave the lot and a trailer added to the lot, so now the weed can grow up around some more stuff.
Is the other one an H? Is it on F? No, it's on
Third HC.
the one that
Yeah,
I
the
spoke
one
with you
you're
about
talking
at
about.
First and H.
First and H.
The other one is at,
I've been watching that one too.
The one at H had people there the other day, but I don't think they're making a whole lot of progress.
so,
That's the one I'm concerned about more than anything. Because it is wide open. It should be roped off right now.
First and H.
the old Gitchell place.
Oh, that one, yeah, where they partially tore it down. Yeah,
Between First and Second Street.
yeah.
So,
I was thinking of something on the corner,
I mean,
yeah.
we don't need a kid wandering in there.
Who's actually doing that?
Rick Gitchell.
I think we need to proceed on both of them myself.
So, last thing I have for you is the planning commission does meet September 18th if we can get a quorum together.
Last question I have for you. We talked about fuel cards. What's your opinion? Which way do you want to go?
I don't know that I have enough information to go either way yet, Mike.
How you got to fuel your equipment? How are
I
you
do.
doing it now?
Right now, we are fueling it with what we have at Trinity.
Okay,
You know, I want to look at both vendors and see who's going to save us money and who
So-
provides us the level of service we need.
so
At that
you're,
point in time, then I'll make the recommendation which group we should go to.
so you're going to put it out for bids?
Yes. I mean, it's basically going to be on a price that says, you know, is it going to be a penny above everybody else or a penny below everybody else and what we have available to us?
So if we put it out for bid, we've got what?
The
4
difference,
vendors?
the difference between putting it out for a true bid though, Mike, is not everybody has the same product.
Right? But
You know, we can save a lot of money by going to some of the blended values, say like the E15s, E20s, E30s. Not everybody sells that. But is it enough to make a change? I don't know. I haven't got that. With me being gone the last week or so, I have not had a chance to digest any of that any further than what I was at the last meeting.
well, if we put that out there, then we got what, 4 or 5 people that could bid it?
Mhm.
Well, yeah.
But not everybody is going to have that system set up. I mean, I assume
Keep
you're
in
talking to your
mind-
convenience stores.
We kind of decided that we would keep it in the city.
That's right.
Unless there was a 20% difference.
Yeah. Because we got Love's, Alta, out on the corner,
because they are
and
taxpayers.
USA.
No, tax doesn't have anything to do with this.
Yes, it does.
But,
City,
But
they're in the
City
city
tax.
but I've
tax.
also,
There's no sales tax on fuel tax.
And that's
No,
not
we're
what
saying they're
talking
doing
about.
business in the city, not in the county. We
But it was
we
also
do to our
discussed
city
with-
people
City tax.
first before
with
we
Mr.
go to county.
Kreitzer
I
about
think
whether
it
or
says
not,
local businesses, but
what was
It's
also
preference to
discussed
the
is whether
city
the fuel
people
station
first.
would be annexed in or not.
Correct, that's what I'm
And
saying.
That was a question he was going to have to check, and those are all part of the details that I'm going to have to check to see whether that all matches. So, when I'm ready to make that determination for you, I'll be bringing that forward to you.
All right.
Continue as reacted.
We have not set anything else up anywhere else not to.
But you're still gonna have to get the new cards.
Right.
Okay.
We have one card that we use right now, and then it's fitting our needs for this point in time.
All right.
You know, I don't want to waste a bunch of their cards right now and then turn around and make the change the other side, and I don't want to get cards out there and turn around and waste their time. So until we have a good feel of what we want out of both systems and what fits us the best, I hate to waste anybody's time.
Okay. You got anything else? All right. Tiffany,
I do not have anything. I have 2 reports in your packet, the CDs and then
Please.
court report.
please provide an update on Cassell, on where they're at.
Well, I've been kind of waiting for the next phase, so, they said that they will get with me in the next week or 2 to set up the next appointment. So,
So what have they done today?
they've taken our data from utility billing and input it into tables, and I verified with them, kind of make sure the data matched by doing checkpoints to make sure the meter readings, all the personal information, the addresses, all of their fields match up with our fields. So they built them into tables, and I think next we do like a trial run to see if the next upload of data goes the same way.
Okay.
So,
So in coordination with that, where are we at with Core and Main? AMR, AMI?
Talked to Kyle this afternoon. He is going to provide a contract for us so that we can sign the contract with them and keep driving forward. We had to do some changing in some of the contract language to get his contract to line up with the state's requirements because they're very picky about what they
Right.
want in their contracts, so. But I think we're on.
Still projected this fall.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good.
As far as the document imaging stuff, what have we all got loaded so far?
this summer, we focused on the files in the vault. I helped go through them, kind of pull out duplicates, just blank forms, stuff that was handwritten that's already been typed, things like that, and scan stuff that we use or that are official signed documents, things like that. We've scanned about 4 drawers or 8 drawers in the file.
Okay.
Shredded quite a bit. But yeah, our vault is looking much better. We can find a lot more things
Now,
now.
did we pass the Topeka thing? We did.
No, I haven't.
Okay. We probably ought to get that before we start shredding.
The only things we shredded were,
Or
like I
dupes.
said, like
Duplicates,
duplicates,
okay.
blank forms, advertisements, handwritten stuff that's typed already, stuff like that.
Okay.
I know we talked about it, but we never did adopt it, did we?
No, I haven't finished weeding out some of the extra things because
Yeah.
Topeka has a lot of stuff, and just with the budget and audit and all the other stuff going on. Haven't
We
worked
can,
on that.
but if we adopt that one, we can go back and eliminate what we don't use later. The thing about adopting it is we can match them up to the files that you have and know whether we can get rid of stuff or not now before you actually go and image them. So you may, I don't want you to image stuff that we could destroy.
Right.
So, and we've got a lot of files in there that I've seen that I think can be destroyed, that don't need to be imaged. So,
I can bring next council meeting what I have so far. Or,
okay, I would,
or
I
just their
would
exact
suggest
document.
as a council that we adopt the Topeka one. And then as we see fit, mark off categories that we don't need. But at least have the one, it has everything that we need plus. That way we at least have something for them to go look and say, hey, this file that I'm getting ready to thing is beyond its life. Let's go ahead and shred it. So, could you have that ready for next time?
Sure.
So they can make a decision? Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
That's all.
Sheet,
What sheet's that?
session.
No. Oh, yeah, let's do that. We're gonna have an executive real quick. It won't take very long.
Tiffany, I think you asked me one time about some old records or something for the fire department. Have
Yeah,
you?
I hadn't went through those files.
Okay,
yet.
when you get ready, let me know.
Okay.
I'll look them over.
I can't call it up.
I kind of ran out of summer.
Yeah,
you know.
I
It's
understand.
on personnel.
Okay. I move the city council recess into executive session to discuss an individual employee's performance pursuant to the non-elected personnel matter exception KSA 75-4319B1 with council and
Is it?
mayor
Mayor. Oh, and Tiff
and Tiffany in attendance, and the open meeting to resume in city council member
in 5 minutes.
at 7:07.
Yeah, that'll work.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.